Hey guys, so this is going to be your small group lesson again, just like we did last week. So just to kind of give you a heads up of what it's going to look like, it's going to look the same as it did last week. It's just we're going to do a different making words activity and we're going to read a different book and you're going to do a different activity with the book. So after this, it's going to go right into the letters that you need for making words. And then it's going to go into the video of us doing a making words lesson together. And then it'll go into us reading a book together. And I'll kind of pop in just like I did last week, where I kind of give you some things to think about and to practice while you're reading. And then after we read the book, then you'll go back to Seesaw and there'll be a little activity page where this week we're going to work on character traits. So you guys are going to get a chance to practice that with your book that you read. All right, so let's get started. Hi guys, so what I want you to do is make sure that the letters that you all see, I want you to make sure that you have those ready to go before we start our lesson. So remember, even if you don't have magnetic letters, you can just write them out on a piece of paper and cut it up or tear it up. Just make sure that you have in some way the letters that you see out in front of you. All right. Hey guys, hello to my Lucy group. We are going to do another making words activity just like we did last week. So I'm trying to do it a little bit more up close so you guys can see the letters a little bit better. So hopefully that's better than it was last week, and make sure that you have all these letters ready to go before we get started, okay? Don't forget that just like we do in the classroom, you guys are not going to move the letters around until I snap. Okay, that way it gives you a chance to hear the word and think about what letters you think are going to go in that word. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So our first word is going to have 2 letters in it. So we're starting off small. Our first word is Ed. So like a name. Like Ed was excited for his birthday party. So everybody say Ed. All right, go ahead and see if you can make the word Ed. All right, so remember we hear that that short E sound, So we know it starts with that E, and normally if I had a capital letter, then we would want to capitalize it because it's a name, but I don't have a capital letter, so we'll just keep it lowercase for now. And then we hear that D, Ed, good job. All right, let's go to our next word. Our next word has 3 letters in it, and it's actually another name. So our word is Ned. Ned, like Ned rode his bike down the street. Ned. All right, everybody say Ned. All right, go ahead and see if you can move those letters around to make the word Ned. All right. So we still hear that Ed sound at the end, but we just have a beginning sound that's a little bit different. So we hear that Ned. So we're going to move that N right over, and that makes our word Ned, our name. So normally that N would be capital because it's a name. Good job. All right, so our next word has 3 letters in it again, and it's the word see. See. So not like a big body of water. It's talking about like I see you. So like, I love to see you working hard. See. Everybody say see. All right, see if you can go ahead and make the word see. All right, so this one's gonna be a little bit different. We're gonna have to move some things around, but I do hear a hunk and chunk in our words. So listen, E. So first I hear that S sound. I hear that S sound. E. Then I hear the E sound. So I know one of the hunks and chunks that we've talked about that makes the E sound is EA. But I'm looking at my letters and I don't have an A up there. So that can't be the right hunk and chunk. But I do see 2 E's. And we know when we see double E, we say E, it's a bumblebee party. So I'm going to make a really good guess that we have that E hunk and chunk. So we spell C, S-E-E. Good job. All right, our next word has 4 letters in it. And it's the word seed. seed, like I'm going to plant the seed and watch it grow. So everybody say seed. All right, go ahead and see if you can make the word seed. All right, so we hear that same C beginning sound, but there's just an ending sound that's different. So we hear seed. So I hear that D sound, D, D. Good, remember, don't go duh. There's no U on the end of it. Your mouth barely comes open, D, D. Very good. All right, so we spell seed, S-E-E-D. Good job. All right, our next word, you're only gonna have to move one letter around. Still has 4 letters in it, and it's the word need. Need, like we all need food and water to survive. Need. All right, everybody say need. All right, see if you can make the word need. All right, so all I hear is that beginning sound change. We still have the E on the end, but that S sound changes to the N sound. So we spell need, N-E-E-D. So we still have that hunk and chunk in there. All right, our next word has 4 letters in it, and it's the word deep. Deep. Like I like to swim in the deep end of the pool. Everybody say deep. All right, see if you can make the word deep. All right, so I still hear that hunk and chunk in our word. So I'm gonna leave the E-E, but now I hear that D sound at the beginning. So D, D, deep. And now I hear that P sound on the end. So we spell deep, D-E-E-P. Good job. All right, our next word has 4 letters in it again, and it's the word seep. So you're only gonna move one letter around, seep. So like water began to seep through his boots. That means like it starts to go through something. So everybody say seep. All right, see if you can make the word seep. All right, so I don't know about you, but all I hear that changes is that beginning sound. So instead of that D sound, I hear the S sound, seep. So we spell seep, S-E-E-P. All right. Next word has 4 letters in it again, and it's the word send. Send, like I like to send fun things in the mail. Send. So sometimes we say it just because like we live in Kentucky, and sometimes we have a little bit of an accent, so we say things a little bit differently than how we would spell them out. So a lot of times you might say send, but if I'm really stretching it out, I would say send. So kind of think about that sound. So go ahead and say send. All right, see if you can make the word send. All right, so we're gonna do some moving around. Now I still hear that sound at the beginning, and I hear that E, but it's not the hunk and chunky because we don't hear that E sound. We just hear the short E sound. N. I hear that N sound. It's stuck to my finger. Send, and then that D sound at the end, send. So we spell send, S-E-N-D. So everybody say, or I'm sorry, you don't have to say it. Just kidding. All right, so our next word has 5 letters in it, and you are actually only gonna add 1 letter. So you're gonna keep everything just like it is, but you're gonna hear like, where do you hear that extra sound? Where are we gonna add this letter in our word send? So our new word is spend. Spend. Like I like to spend money on books because I love to read. Spend. All right, everybody say spend. All right, see if you can figure out where that letter goes. Go ahead and make the word spend. Listen to the beginning. Spend. All right, so I don't know about you, but I hear a blend at the beginning of this word. So I still hear that S sound, but after the S sound, I hear that P sound. So we hear a blend where we blend those 2 sounds together. Spend. So we spell spend, S-P-E-N-D. Good job. All right, just a few more words. So our next word has 5 letters in it, and it's the word speed. Speed. I hear that E sound again. So think about what hunk and chunk did we just talk about? Speed. Like I never want to speed when I'm driving. Speed. So everybody say speed. All right, see if you can make the word speed. All right, so we're gonna move some things around. Now I still hear that sp, that SP blend at the beginning, but now I do hear that E sound, that hunk and chunk. And then just move that back up, and I still hear speed, that D on the end. So really we only had to change one letter and make a whole new word, which is so cool. So we spell speed, S-P-E-E-D. Good job. All right, so our next word has 6 letters in it, and it's the word seen. Seen, like I am seeing lots of flowers blooming outside. Seen. All right, so again, because of the way we talk, sometimes we don't say it like you would if you were stretching it out. So let me try to say it a little bit differently, like seeing, seeing, but we say like seeing. We just say it a little bit differently. So everybody say seeing. All right, go ahead and make the word seeing. All right, so let's see if we can put the word seen together. So I hear that sound at the beginning, and then I still hear that hunk and chunk, E. But then we say it a little bit differently, but I do hear a hunk and chunk at the end. Did you guess what hunk and chunk it was? Seeing. I-N-G. Seeing. Very good. If you got that, good job. If you didn't, go ahead and move those letters around, and we spell seeing, S-E-E-I-N-G. All right, so take a look, because we've got one more word. Do you think you know what our mystery word is that would use all the letters? So this word is going to have 8 letters. It's going to use all of them. So look at the letters that you have right here. Where could you add those to make a mystery word? All right, so if you guessed speeding, then you are right. So like I would say, when I was speeding in my car, I had to pay a ticket. Speeding. So go ahead and say the word speeding. All right, go ahead and make the word speeding. All right, so we don't have to do a whole lot of moving around because I still hear that ing sound at the end, speeding. So I'm gonna leave that where it is, but I'm thinking, where do I hear that P sound? Sp, that blend again. So I have that sp blend at the beginning again. And then where do I hear that D sound? Sp, E. So I still hear that hunk and chunk, but sp, ed, ing. So I hear that D sound right before that ing hunk and chunk. So we spell speeding, S-P-E-E-D-I-N-G. Very good, you guys. So good job with your making words. And we will do another one next week. So good job, good work. All right, so in this book, our book is called Guest from Japan. And in this book, Emily is in Miss Hall's class, and Emily's grandparents are visiting from Japan. And so we're going to see what happens when Mrs. Hall introduces them and some of the things that Emily's grandparents end up teaching the kids in her class. So remember, when you're reading, if the pages are moving too quickly, you can always pause the video and finish reading that page and then pick back up where you left off. So we'll talk about the book as you read. So on this page, it says that Mr. and Mrs. Indu, that they bowed to the class. And the text doesn't really tell us what bowed means, but the picture does. So take a second and stop the video and turn and tell somebody, or just stop and think in your head, what do you think the word bowed means? And use the picture to kind of help you, because they show you what it means. Okay, so on the last page, we talked about what do you think the word bow means? And on that page, it didn't really tell us in the text what it meant, but it kind of showed us in the picture. But what's really cool about reading is that a lot of times, if you just keep reading the text, it will end up telling you and explaining to you what a word means. So this is a perfect example. If we read on to this page, then it tells us not just that bow means to lean forward, because a lot of you all probably already knew that just with your background knowledge. But what's really cool is it kind of explains, what does it mean when somebody bows? So why do they do it? And so here the author tells us that it's a sign of respect. It's a way for you to say hello or goodbye to somebody. So we may not do that a lot here in the United States, but from where Emily's grandparents are from in Japan, that's very common for them to do. So very cool. We learned something about Japan and how they say hello and goodbye and how they show respect to people. But we also practiced, if we don't know what a word means, well, a lot of times if we keep reading the text or look at the pictures, it'll not only show us, but explain what it means too. So very cool. So we've read a lot about Mr. and Mrs. Indu and them coming to Emily's classroom, being able to tell her classmates about some things that they do in their country. So I want you to pause the video and think about, how would you feel if your grandparents got to come to our classroom and tell your classmates about some things that they might do that might be different than what we do every day? Would it make you happy? Would you be nervous? Would you be scared? Would you be upset? Would you be excited? How would you feel if your grandparents got to come to our classroom and turn and tell somebody, or just think about it? All right. So now that you've had a chance to read the whole book, I want you to think about what kind of character traits would you use to describe Mr. and Mrs. Indu? Because what you're going to do is you're going to go back to Seesaw after this video is over, and you're going to find the graphic organizer that is attached to this assignment. And there's going to be a bunch of little bubbles that you're going to fill in and tell me both inside character traits. So what do they act like? How do they think? How do they feel? What is their personality like on the inside? But also their outside character traits. So what do they look like on the outside? What are they wearing? Their hair color, skin color, eye color, all that good stuff. Those are all good character traits that you can talk about. So make sure that you do that. Make sure you submit it so that I can see all those good character traits that you guys came up with about Mr. and Mrs. Indu. So I hope you enjoyed the book, and I can't wait to see what character traits you all come up with.